Welcome to Distressed to Joyful, Bailey's Way. I'm your host, Bailey Raber, here to enlighten you and the rest of the world about one of the most misunderstood mental disorders out there, bipolar disorder. Each week, we're going to learn more about my personal journey with the disorder while leaving you enriched with new information on how you can help better yourself as well as those around you. Hello, friends! Okay, so I just wanted to point out that I am fully aware that I have not been able to release new episodes bi-weekly on Mondays as I was hoping to, but I'm not going to apologize for it. I'm not. Life sometimes gets in the way, and I would not be living authentically if I continued to apologize for life getting in the way because I tell other people all the time not to apologize for the same thing. Life happens. Commitments sometimes don't work out because life happens and it is okay. It is okay. We need to all stop being so hard on ourselves sometimes, myself included, because I am really good at beating myself up for things like not completing a deadline that I made up for myself. It's not worth it for the mental health of everybody, guys. It's just not worth it. Plus, if you've been tuning in to the show enough, or if you are also diagnosed with bipolar 2, like me, then you're probably aware that bipolar 2 can be a bit unpredictable with the moods and emotions and the highs and the lows. And, that's a regular thing, the unpredictability of emotions and feelings and stuff, right? So, with that being said, I feel like not always releasing my new episodes on a specific schedule is kind of on point with the whole theme of the show, anyways. I mean, come on. If the show was super predictable, but bipolar 2 is not, that doesn't really add up, right? All right, that might be a silly rationalization, but whatever. It is what it is. Okay, so let's move into today's episode. Feel your feelings. And ironically, my therapist actually gave me an assignment right before I began putting this episode together that involved me breaking down my wall and allowing myself to really get to the bottom of some feelings that I've been pushing down for a while now. So I won't be going into full details about these specific feelings right now around what this assignment is for, just because they're super fresh and I don't really have the capacity to fully open up about them just yet. But you can bet your ass that I will talk about it sooner or later because this assignment is it's actually good. It's good. It's necessary. And I think that other people could benefit from it too. Like you, who's listening right now. So I felt the need to mention that this, assignment and these unprocessed feelings that I'm about to really dig deep into because while I am currently so much better at feeling my feelings and being able to process them and work through them, I still have a lot of work to do, y'all. I do. And I was actually kind of pissed because I was thinking, wow, I have done so well with my emotions. Let's talk about this on the show. It'll be so beneficial to other people. And then my therapist comes along and is like, actually, you've still got work to do and you're going to do this assignment so that we can talk about your feelings about it and yada yada. Damn therapist always putting me in my place. But, while she can't make me do the assignments that she assigns, and she's fully aware of that fact, she's also fully aware that I do take her assignments very seriously, and I am going to do it, even though I really don't want to. So you win, almighty therapist. I will do the damn assignment. Okay, so I keep saying the phrase, feel my feelings. And you're probably sitting there thinking, okay, what the fuck is she talking about? First, I've got to talk to y'all about what suppressing your feelings means and what it's like when it's practiced. So, when we suppress our feelings, we are not allowing ourselves to deal with them in real time, nor are we dealing with them healthily. Suppressing feelings is like sucking it up or just deal with it. When a situation might arouse anger or sadness or frustration or whatever the hell that situation makes you feel, instead of allowing yourself to feel that emotion that's coming your way, you just shove it down, you slap on a smile, and you pretend to be happy. And usually that's for the sake of others or my favorite, to not cause a scene. I'm sure some of you are sitting there thinking, oh my God, I know exactly what that's like. I've done that a million times. I continue to do it, or what the hell ever. But I know I'm not alone in this. And I was, oh man, I was a pro at suppressing my feelings because I needed to, quote, not cause a scene. And while that phrase was not always spoken directly at me, it was always implied. Suck it up, slap on a smile, and just pretend to be happy. Or do this to make your mother happy. Oh my God, that was the biggest one. I'm sure you guys have, at least some of you I know have heard that phrase too. Do it to make so and so happy. While doing this might seem to be able to keep the peace in the moment, it's actually really harmful for the individual who is suppressing those emotions because they can't stay down forever, y'all. Eventually, they're going to come back up, sometimes in the form of an explosion. Trust me from experience on that one. And more often than not, all of these emotions will come up and erupt at the worst possible time ever. Like a volcano. Oh my God. Like Pompeii. So I've been to Pompeii. My friend Spencer and I in high school went together on this Italy trip. It was awesome. And we got to see Pompeii. And if nobody listening knows what Pompeii is about, I'm going to just give you a little history lesson. So Pompeii is a city, or I think it's an island. I can't, y'all, that was a decade ago. So please excuse me. You might want to fact check whatever I'm saying because it might not all be accurate. I'm going off a decade old memory. But Pompeii is a city in Italy that there was an eruption, like a volcanic eruption from this mountain that I cannot remember its name for the life of me. So please, somebody send me a message and let me know what the name of it is. Anyways, this mountain was actually volcanic and it erupted and it covered the whole city of Pompeii in ash. And I know that that is a fact because all of the volcanic ash actually preserved the city. So when you go visit it, it's just like it was back in whatever the hell time period that was. And like the paintings on the walls were preserved and the houses and like bodies of people. Like it's crazy. It's really cool. If you're ever in Italy, you have to go see Pompeii because it's really, really cool. But when Pompeii did that, it was an eruption, and it was at a really bad time, obviously, because it just destroyed the whole city, and it exploded and rained fire on everybody, and people died. So if you continue to suppress your emotions, especially anger and frustration, just picture Pompeii, and everybody's just happy-go-lucky doing their thing, and all of a sudden, there's a massive volcanic eruption that is raining fire and destroys a whole city. Because that's what's going to happen if you continue to suppress your feelings. Trust me, I've had my own versions of destroying Pompeii in my personal life. So this isn't coming from speculation. This is coming from experience. Another way that we suppress our emotions is to drown them out using a substance such as alcohol, sex, or even recreational drugs. And I just realized sex is not a substance, but you know where I was going with that. I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this in previous episodes, but guys, I used to be an alcoholic. And while I was never diagnosed with alcohol abuse disorder, or I've never been involved in AA, which stands for Alcoholics Anonymous, thankfully, I was able to pull myself out of my addiction to alcohol on my own. So, long story short, for those curious, I decided to do dry January in 2019 to help me lose weight. Dry January is where you don't drink any alcohol for the entire month of January. Most people do it as a cleanse and then they eventually just start drinking again as soon as February 1st hits. But for me, the end results turned out a lot different than I had originally intended. I literally did this as a way of okay, alcohol is unnecessary calories. If I do dry January, then I cut out all of these unnecessary calories, which helps me to lose weight. Boom. Great trade off, right? But dry January in 2019 was actually the first time in my life from the age of 17 until I was 25 freaking years old that I went more than just a week without consuming any alcohol. Y'all, I went 31 whole days without consuming any alcohol. Like, that was a win in itself because from 17 to 25, every single weekend I was drinking. And then it went from weekends to weekdays after I graduated high school. And it just, kind of exploded from there. But after this whole dry January thing, I did pick up a drink again once the month was over. And I found that I really hated how it made me feel. And not just the feeling while I was drunk, but especially those hangovers the next day, dude. Oh, those were awful. Those were so awful. And I was now in this whole I'm exercising, I'm losing weight, this is good, I'm feeling great. And then I get drunk and I'm hungover and you don't want to work out. And you just want to eat greasy foods. And that didn't align with my goals at the time. So it kind of just worked out where I just stopped drinking. And so I don't have an official sober birthday where I can celebrate when I decided to stop drinking. It really just became a conscious decision just to not drink anymore. That just got easier as time went on. But now that that story has been told, let's swerve the car back around to what we were originally talking about because I learned in therapy that I was using alcohol as a coping mechanism to suppress my feelings because, well, it was a hell of a lot easier to just get drunk than to actually try to process my feelings. I mean, seriously, why feel lonely and sad about all of the shit that's currently going on in your life when you can just get drunk and forget about it, right? That is until tomorrow comes and you're no longer drunk, but you're hungover. And not only are you hungover, but all of the feelings that you didn't want to feel or process or deal with are now nagging at you. They're pulling on your pant leg and they just want you to fucking deal with them already. But you don't want to deal with them. So you just get drunk again that night. And the vicious cycle continues on and on until it becomes a habit. And then that habit becomes a lifestyle until all of a sudden you're 25 years old, overweight, constantly hating yourself and your life because it wasn't what you wanted it to be. Oh, wait, I guess that's how my life turned out, huh? I mean, it's not just me, though. It's not just me. I know that this shitty cycle happens to so many of us, but unfortunately, a lot of people don't begin to seek the outside help that they need until they've hit midlife. Like, seriously, guys, I have heard so many adultier adults than me. Adultier adult. What is that? That is an adult who's like 40 and above because they've been an adult so much longer than I have. I mean, I'm 27 and three quarters. So I haven't been an adult for very, very long. Almost a decade. Almost a decade. That's not a lot of time being an adult. You're in your 40s, you've been an adult for like, a lot longer. And I've heard from so many people that they really wish they would have started to do the work that I am currently doing right now in my 20s. They wish that they would have done this in their fucking 20s and not waited till they were 40 or 50 years old to do all of the self awareness and discovery and soul searching that I've been doing. Because, yeah, I mean, time doesn't slow down for any of us, y'all. It doesn't. And you know how most people, like, you have most people, I don't know. It's on TV. So obviously, if it's on TV and on the movies, it happens to everybody in real life. But sorry, they talk about midlife crises, like that's a thing and it's in the shows and everything. Well, thankfully, I had a quarter life crisis. So let's hope that I can surpass that midlife crisis and not have to buy a Ferrari when I'm 40 to feel better about myself because I had my crisis at 25 and let's be done with it. Ugh. That was a joke, kind of. No, seriously, I don't want a midlife crisis. 25 quarter life crisis was enough. But you know what else I learned in therapy, guys? Is that when we use alcohol to suppress our bad feelings, it is also suppressing any good feelings that we might actually want to experience. Yeah, mic drop. That was a total game changer for me learning that. Because I had been stuck in this whole, woe is me, my life sucks rut for so freaking long that I didn't even realize that I was the one getting in the way of my own damn happiness. Yes. And honestly, that realization probably didn't hit until my dry January stunt when I removed the chronic alcohol from my system for the first time in the history of my life. No wonder I'd been having such a hard time seeking happiness. I was literally hiding it from myself in the form of alcohol. So, in an article that I found on American Diction Center's Diction, oh my God, I can't read. Sorry, guys. The article was found on AmericanAddictionCenters.org. They state that research has shown that there seems to be a bidirectional relationship between alcohol use disorder and depressive disorders. Both disorders can exist together. Each disorder increases the risk for the other disorder, and each disorder can worsen the other. So, regardless of the order of which came first, alcohol use disorder or a depressive disorder, both issues are among the most prevalent psychiatric disorders and can co occur often. Side note, the phrase depressive disorder is actually more of like an umbrella term with a shit ton of disorders that qualify as one of them. So, like major depressive disorder and bipolar disorder all fit under the depressive disorder category. Now, obviously, major depressive disorder and bipolar disorder are two completely different things, but because both of which do have depressive episodes, feelings, emotions, that kind of thing, they all qualify, right? But basically, what this article is saying is that abusing alcohol can actually cause your depression to worsen. Or if you're abusing alcohol, you're at a higher risk for obtaining a depressive disorder. And if you have a depressive disorder already, then you are at a higher risk for abusing alcohol. It's like they go hand in hand. And that makes perfect sense when I look back on my life during all of my heavy drinking days. Like, seriously, it makes so much sense. And y'all, I'm not here to preach soberness to you because you're a fucking adult who can make your own decisions. But I really do hope that while sending out this information to you and letting it creep into your ears and digest into your cute little brains, I really hope that you're going to take this information to heart and do some further research to better understand how alcohol could be negatively impacting your life, especially if you're diagnosed with bipolar disorder or any other type of depressive disorder. Guys, I cannot tell you how many times my therapist would tell me to stop drinking. Well, okay, that is a super exaggeration. She never flat out said, "Hey, stop drinking." Although I'm sure she wanted to shake me and say that, is screaming in my face. But she did politely recommend, as a therapist would, that I should try not to drink so much or lower my alcohol consumption or blah, blah, blah. Like, she would always sneak that in. And that's only when I actually told the truth that I was drinking a lot. I remember so many times because I even went to her sessions hungover, guys. I was like the best patient ever. And I would show up hungover to our therapy session. Great times. Great times. And she was so happy about that. And she loved dealing with a hungover Bailey who would not listen to any of her advice. I mean, man, I was a therapist's dream. Oh, if you are a therapist listening, or if you go to therapy, you best believe or know that I am totally exaggerating on that. I was like the worst patient ever at that time, I'm sure. It's amazing that I'm still her patient 10 years later. She hasn't kicked me to the curb. But in all seriousness, guys, I do understand that alcohol is a huge part of our culture today. But please, 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 please remember that you are the one that has to deal with the consequences of drinking and how it may impact your mental health and your physical health. And just because everyone else is doing it doesn't mean you have to too. I know you love hearing that phrase because I'm sure your mother told you that your entire life, like mine did. And you love hearing it come from my mouth too. Seriously, though, just because everyone's doing it doesn't mean you have to do it. And I can honestly say, though, that I just feel so much better now that I've stopped drinking. It's been, oh man, it's probably been almost 3 years. It's definitely been over 2.5 years since I first, completely gave it up. And I just don't care to go back. Like, it's not even a difficult decision for me to say, no, I don't want to drink. Like, that's literally my preference. And sure, shitty things do happen, and I feel them, and it sucks. And it sucks. But more importantly, I get to feel joy and laughter and pure happiness in ways that I wasn't able to before. Y'all, alcohol was numbing my ability to fully feel my emotions, which blocked out all of the good feelings that I now enjoy so, so much. I'm a happy crier, guys. I am a happy crier. That is correct. I cry happy tears sometimes because I am just so damn happy that it moves me to tears. Seriously. And the first time this ever occurred, I will never forget. It was in late February of 2019. And I know that that was the first time that I happy cried because I remember feeling so weird about it. Like, I was in my car and I was driving and I was thinking about a really happy moment that occurred. And I was just so happy that like tears came out of my eyes. And I was so happy that I was in my car and nobody could see me because it was also weird. I was like, why am I crying right now? Like, I'm just feeling happy. And it just moved me to tears. And it was super weird. But now I do it all the time. And it's seriously the most beautiful thing ever. It really is. And if I was still numbing my feelings, I would never be able to experience this. So if you've never been so happy that you've cried, but while listening to this episode, you realize you might be engaging in some suppress your feelings behaviors, I encourage you to check out the show notes and, well, show notes of this episode specifically. Don't just like Google random show notes. Come on. But seriously though, I do recommend that you check out the show notes for this episode and do a little more research on things so that you can do what you need to do to better help yourself. Or, better yet, talk to your therapist and get the advice and recommendations for your current life to get the help that you need. My ultimate wish is for you to be able to feel so fucking happy that tears begin streaming down your face and it freaks you out because it's never happened before. But you allow your mascara to become ruined because it's just such a beautiful damn moment that needs to be felt to the fullest. Really, though, I wish that you can feel these beautiful emotions to the max capacity. And the only way you can do that is to stop suppressing the shitty ones. Trust me from experience, guys. Okay, so now it's time for What a Weirdo! And I'm super excited about this one today because somebody wrote in with their weirdo thing, and I am so freaking happy to read it to you. And this one is hilariously weird, and the listener would like to remain anonymous. And hilariously weird, just so you know, anonymous listener, is a compliment. So please take it as that. This person writes, I have this blanket that I've had ever since I was a baby that's really soft and kind of ratty now since it's old. Okay, good start. I've kept this thing for over 3 decades. Oh, wow, that's a long time. And every night before I go to sleep, I sniff it and I cuddle it. All right. I've been doing that since I was a kid, and I can't go to sleep without doing so. It's weird, but I bet so many people still have a stuffed animal from their childhood that they won't admit to, which is kind of the same thing. So whatever. So yeah, I sniff my blanket. That's what I do. Okay, yeah, that is that's a weird one. I will admit I used to have a stuffed animal. So yeah, you are correct. I had this stuffed animal that I kept for years. And it was a panda, so it was white, and I remember I spilled Coke on it one time, so then it got turned brown because it was stained, but you couldn't wash it because it was a stuffed animal, so that was actually really gross. But I didn't sniff it. So that sniffing thing, that's new. I wonder what the point of that is, but hey, good for you. And thanks for sharing. Thanks for sharing because yay, that was not me who did that. It was somebody else. And I love that. I love that you guys are starting to send these in because let's laugh together over some weird shit that we do. So, speaking of, don't forget to send in your weirdo behaviors to share some laughs with us here on the show. You can send me a DM on Instagram, or you can head on over to the contact page on whatisheybales.doing.com. That's what is HEYBAILS doing.com. And I promise anonymity. I think that's how you pronounce that. If you want to be anonymous, I will honor that if you request it. But guys, we are here to make fun of ourselves and to give each other a good laugh because life is too short to take everything so seriously. So send in your weird shit and let's all laugh together. Please. Alrighty, so next episode is titled That's Not Me, That's Bipolar Disorder, where we will talk about actions and behaviors that can spontaneously occur when moods shift or episodes ensue in those of us who are diagnosed with bipolar disorder. More specifically, my journey with bipolar 2 disorder and actions and behaviors that have spontaneously shifted within myself. So I'm actually super excited about this episode because I am going to share things that my partner Monish and I do to help keep shit from hitting the fan when I act out unexpectedly. So we've come up with some things as a team, and they're really good and they're really helpful. And it's been incredibly beneficial for our relationship as a couple. So you don't want to miss it. It's going to be really, really good. But in the meantime, thank you for tuning into the show. I appreciate you guys so much. And if you've enjoyed this episode, just take a screenshot of it and post it on social media and tag distressed to joyful _ Bailey's Way. Also, follow me on Instagram. Hello, let's be friends. Let's follow each other. And if you haven't already, hit that cute little subscribe button in the top corner. It's probably in the top right-hand corner, I'm going to assume. I'm not looking, so I'm going to guess. But hit that cute little subscribe button so that you can stay up to date with all the new episode releases. But until next time, take it easy, stay grateful, and be joyful. Bye!